So it's being reported that there's some kind of dispute between McDonald's McFlurry machine makers and franchisees and a company that's trying to fix them. It's a kind of a combination of a corporate espionage, trade secret, and right to repair case. There's a little company that has come up and has done a good job, it seems, trying to repair the often broken McDonald's McFlurry machines. But now something has happened and there is a lawsuit. And it took a little while to figure this out, but the lawsuit is from the little guy, a company named Kytch, which is a play on kitchen, Kytch, and they have had to sue not McDonald's, but a McDonald's franchisee and an associated company for breaching trade secret laws. Before we get into the thing really quickly, trade secret is a kind of intellectual property, and it's one of the four kinds of intellectual property. So you've got patent, you've got copyright, you've got trademark, and you've got trade secrets. Normally, trade secrets, the famous example is Coca-Cola. The recipe for Coca-Cola is a trade secret. And as long as the company takes reasonable measures to keep it secret, then those trade secrets have some protection in the law. There's the Uniform Trade Secrets Act. There's other state laws, and then there's basic contract law, because one of the reasonable measures to keep things secret is through non-disclosure agreements. Non-disclosure agreements are contracts. So without further ado, here is Kytch Inc. versus Jonathan Tyler Gamble, doing business as McDonald's, Taylor Commercial Food Service, and there's TF Group in here that I didn't highlight. And this is in the state of California, in the county of Alameda, and it has a tremendous docket. These items, each one of these is several dollars to buy, so unfortunately I don't have all of the documents, but we do have the major document, which is the complaint here, and we'll also talk about the preliminary injunction which Kytch was able to get. The standard for a preliminary injunction is pretty high, so they've already cleared one major hurdle, but then the preliminary injunction is only a temporary, it's kind of a temporary restraining order is the comparable thing that we would have in federal law. This is a state court proceeding. And so they have this kind of temporary restraining order, and then they have to go for a preliminary injunction. So it's something like 14 days, and then there'll be a hearing where the parties get to fight over a preliminary injunction, which is for the duration of the litigation. So without further ado, we have a case for breach of contract, tortious or wrongful interference with a contract, and misappropriation of trade secrets. This is a case about corporate espionage and the extreme steps one manufacturer has taken to conceal and protect a multi-million-dollar repair racket. McDonald's is best known for its world-famous burgers, fries, and broken ice cream machines. In fact, McDonald's tweeted out, "We have a joke about our soft-serve machines, but we're worried it won't work." This is no laughing matter to the McDonald's franchise operators forced to shoulder the expensive maintenance and repair costs when the machines are out of commission. Back in 2003, McDonald's gave an effective monopoly to manufacturing giant Taylor to provide soft-serve machines for its approximately 14,000 retail locations just in the United States. The problem is Taylor designed its software so that only Taylor-certified technicians can service and repair the machines. Taylor's own documents confirm that in 2017 alone, 6,500 Taylor-certified technicians brought in almost $80 million in revenue for parts and service support. This may explain why Taylor has failed to identify a global solution to fix the buggy machines, especially in light of the fact that McDonald's customers across the country have taken to Twitter and other social media platforms to complain about the machines. One customer expressed that he was unwilling to go to McDonald's because "I would go to McDonald's, but I can't deal with disappointment of ice cream machine being broken today." For almost 2 decades, it appeared that Taylor's broken machines would never be fixed, until a small California tech startup called Kytch cracked the code in April 2019. During product testing and development, Kytch used a proprietary combination of hardware, software, and machine learning to demystify the finicky machines. Kytch soon uncovered a repair racket whereby Taylor designed flawed code that causes the machines to malfunction. Whether Taylor intentionally designed these flaws or merely did not care enough to ensure bug-free code will become clear during discovery. Either way, Taylor's web of partners profited millions in repair fees for the malfunctions that it manufactured. A number of Taylor's customers at McDonald's have reported that Taylor's technicians made unauthorized changes to software that frequently resulted in expensive and otherwise unnecessary repairs. To maintain its lucrative repair and service market, Taylor employs a hidden technicians menu to conduct even basic maintenance on the machine. I think Wired reported that it was like a 16-digit or 16-step method to get into the technician's menu of the machine, and then you could have access to settings that could allow you to fix problems with the machine. But even then, as you'll see, the repair codes and the error codes and things are so cryptic that it's really not meant to be user serviceable. Until Kytch entered the marketplace, only Taylor-certified technicians had the tools and know-how to navigate the machine's volatile operations and software. That changed when Kytch launched its flagship device called Kytch Solution in spring 2019 as part of a confidential product trial to limited fast food restaurants. Kytch spent years developing a trade secret man-in-the-middle technology to unlock the cryptic machines, called the Kytch Solution device. Kytch also designed an online system, the platform, for its customers to manage and monitor their machines. The Kytch Solution platform is equipped with a user-friendly interface to finally simplify the difficult Taylor machines that were designed to fail. Kytch originally agreed to provide its top-secret technologies and user interface to trial participants under strict non-disclosure and non-use agreements, the Kytch Trial Agreement and Terms of Service. The Kytch trial was an overnight sensation, and media outlets reported on the innovative technology that promised to reduce the machine's downtime and to consistently deliver more frozen treats to McDonald's customers. Because Kytch Solution reduces the need for Taylor service technicians to repair the machines, Kytch's leadership was not surprised when Taylor attempted to obtain the Kytch Solution. First, one of Taylor's distribution managers tried to purchase a device, but Kytch's security protocol flagged and blocked the purchase. Then a lawyer employed by Taylor's outside counsel attempted to purchase the Kytch Solution. Kytch blocked the second attempt. After that, 2 private investigators associated with Taylor used aliases and dummy email addresses to get their hands on the device. Once again, Kytch canceled the orders. As Kytch's product trial expanded in 2020, it became the largest independent Internet of Things / connectivity software vendor for the shake machine in the McDonald's system. By all appearances, the Kytch Solution device modernized the outdated soft-serve machines that had frustrated customers for years. Based on this rapid growth, Kytch built a reputation as an emerging leader in the fast-growing Internet of Things industry. Kytch was barreling towards a $50 million valuation, and the company kicked off a $10 million Series A fundraising round in October of 2020. But everything changed after Tyler Gamble, a major McDonald's franchisee and leader of the group that works to introduce new products into McDonald's restaurants, enrolled in the Kytch trial. Gamble approached Kytch and explained that he was the head of McDonald's equipment team, the committee responsible for recommending new products to McDonald's Corporation. At first, Gamble appeared to support Kytch's mission. Gamble even indicated that he would push McDonald's to purchase Kytch Solutions device for all of its U.S. locations. Kytch is informed and believes this was a ruse. Kytch believes that Gamble was working hand-in-hand with Kytch's competitor, Taylor, to steal Kytch's trade secrets. As part of this unlawful scheme, Gamble breached the Kytch trial agreement and terms of service last summer by soliciting Kytch's most sensitive information, only to share it with Taylor through one of its distributors. Kytch believes that Taylor's distributor shared Kytch's trade secrets with the manufacturing giant to enable Taylor to monitor Kytch's development. With insider access to Kytch's trade secret information, Taylor could stay one step ahead of Kytch's diagnostic capabilities. Kytch believes that news of Kytch's operating system led to Taylor's decision to launch its own competing device rapidly to preserve its repair racket. In mid-April, a Taylor spokesperson went on the record admitting that a distributor had obtained at least one Kytch solution device. Taylor has also failed to deny that months earlier, its outside counsel and private investigators had used fake names to try to get their hands on a Kytch solution device. Tyler Gamble knew he was acting improperly. In February of 2021, Tyler Gamble and his father tried to delete the electronic invitations they sent out to unauthorized third parties providing access to the Kytch platform. These uses of Kytch's confidential information were unauthorized. They have cost Kytch untold millions of dollars, and they will certainly cause Kytch further damage in the future. Defendants have also been unjustly enriched through violating contractual obligations and by exploiting confidential information. Defendants' conduct has come close to destroying Kytch. Accordingly, the defendants must make Kytch whole for the damages caused by their unlawful conduct, and the court should, as required by the agreement and terms, enjoin them, an injunction, from further using Kytch's confidential information and trade secrets. Defendant Jonathan Tyler Gamble operates 10 McDonald's restaurants in Tennessee and Mississippi. Gamble is an independent franchise owner, and he serves as the equipment team lead for McDonald's National Supplier Leadership Council, the NSLC. You'll see that later. Gamble enrolled in the Kytch trial after executing or signing the binding Kytch trial agreement, and after representing that he and his company would not use Kytch's trade secrets to build or support or assist a third party in building or supporting products or services competitive to Kytch. The Kytch trial agreement incorporates Kytch's binding terms of service, and those provisions, among other things, prohibit Gamble from providing unauthorized access or exceeding authorized access to Kytch's products, services, or any account. The contracts give Kytch the right to seek injunctive relief arising from Gamble's breaches of their duties of confidentiality and their misuse of Kytch's intellectual property rights. Kytch's data-driven product testing ultimately yielded next-generation IoT technology that cemented the company's status as a leader in the industry. Through years of development and $1.3 million of effort, Kytch has built expertise, proprietary insights, diagnostic tools, and notification systems for the growing smart kitchen marketplace. In February 2020, Gamble first contacted Kytch to enroll in the Kytch trial. Because one of Kytch's key strategic advantages lie in its proprietary information, Kytch required Gamble to enter into a non-disclosure agreement to protect Kytch's trade secrets and confidential information. Gamble executed that agreement March 19, 2020, and his signature was shown there. The NDA reflects the fundamental nature of Kytch's and Gamble's business relationship. Kytch is in the midst of developing its solution to the broken machines with the need to collect more data for the Kytch trial. Gamble is in charge of identifying new and innovative products for McDonald's, and the ice cream machines in his 10 stores were constantly breaking down. Sounds like a match made in heaven. Gamble sought out Kytch's data-driven approach to fixing the machines. Kytch, on the other hand, needed to make sure that one of its chief assets, its innovative hardware and software, were protected. Kytch would never just give away its trade secrets for free or so that Gamble could use them for his benefit, much less to the benefit of Kytch's competitors. The NDA memorializes how the parties came together around these competing interests. Gamble was obligated and agreed to keep confidential the information and devices Kytch provided, and he could use it only in furtherance of the Kytch trial. The NDA specifically states that Kytch may seek injunctive and other equitable or fairness-based relief to protect its confidential information and without the need to post a monetary bond or other surety or monetary guarantee. With these contractual protections in place, Kytch gave Gamble access to a substantial amount of proprietary information and confidential documents. Kytch also sent several Kytch solution devices, each protected by the NDA, for Gamble to use at his McDonald's locations for one purpose, to support and further the Kytch trial. Kytch shared its confidential and proprietary hardware and software designs. Kytch is informed and believed that Gamble betrayed Kytch and his obligations when he used Kytch's confidential confidential information to compete, causing irreparable harm to Kytch, which is one of the factors required for an injunction. Kytch required that this information be protected with an NDA because this information is at the heart of their business model and is what sets it apart from competitors. Kytch's proprietary materials offer a roadmap for a strategy that has never before been attempted in the soft serve machine industry, using man-in-the-middle technology to communicate with the finicky machines and to stabilize volatile software, all while providing real-time notifications to customers. This offering reduced the need for restaurant operators to pay costly repairs to Taylor Group. Kytch introduced the industry to the revolutionary notion that these industrial machines should be controlled by the restaurant owners and artificial intelligence, and that by demystifying the complicated machines and reducing the need for costly service technicians, Kytch could save its customers millions of dollars in recaptured revenue and reduced overhead. Kytch's cohesive strategy promises enormous returns far in excess of current outputs from Taylor's technology. The majority of McDonald's restaurants are equipped with a Taylor Model C602 soft serve ice cream machine, or I guess there's some dispute over whether it's actually considered ice cream or whether they have to call it soft serve because it's not actually ice cream. This model is not available for purchase by the general public. Although Taylor occupies a substantial share of its market, its machines have been described as unreliable and notorious for constantly breaking down. The machine's reputation for breaking led the Wall Street Journal to explain in a recent story that the interruption in ice cream, milkshake, and McFlurry service is so widespread that it has spawned an avalanche of social media complaints in the US and abroad, as well as conspiracy theories. In response to the criticism, Taylor has tried to deflect responsibility despite widespread complaints across the world. Taylor's COO, James Menard, has referred to news coverage about the machine malfunctions. Taylor's COO, James Menard, has referred to news coverage about the machine malfunctions as fake news in what appears to be an attempt to discredit the Wall Street Journal's headline bearing the question, "Why is the McFlurry machine down again?" The ridicule McDonald's has received from the media because of the defective ice cream machines is more serious than the whimsical headlines suggest because some of the problems have alarming public health implications. A recent study conducted by Dateline assessed the cleanliness of top fast food chains, including McDonald's. NBC News said more than 120 people were sickened after eating ice cream at their local McDonald's. Kytch's analysis of its customer data revealed that a critical mass of Taylor's machines was equipped with a manual switch designed to bypass mandatory pasteurization and brush cleanings. Of the machines in the Kytch trial operated with this bypass, is a redacted section, so some of the machines in the Kytch trial operated with this bypass in violation of Public Health Agency and food safety regulations. Indeed, for years, Taylor's service manuals contain step-by-step instructions to bypass these regulations. Despite these issues, and in complete disregard for state and county inspection reports confirming that Taylor's machines breach safety protocols, Taylor's pattern of denialism continued for years. But any remaining plausibility to Taylor's denial campaign evaporated after a software engineer launched McBroken.com to compile statistics reflecting the number of McDonald's ice cream machines that are out of commission at any moment. At the time of this writing, McBroken.com reports that more than 11% of the soft serve machines at McDonald's restaurants in the US are out of service. These machine outages have cost franchise operators millions of dollars in lost revenue. Consequently, McDonald's franchisees have gone on record to explain that Taylor's machines are temperamental and expensive to repair. McDonald's franchisees have also reported that some of the software updates installed by Taylor technicians cause even more glitches and expensive outages. If I have it correct from the Wired article, the soft serve machine is actually pretty high tech. It is able to make soft serve as well as McFlurries, and it's able to preserve its ingredient stores overnight through a pasteurization process. So I think it's a 4-hour pasteurization process, and the problem is if it fails that process, it can't resume the process in a health inspection compliant manner, so it has to start over, hence people trying to bypass it, and hence Kytch being able to identify some of the problems and then being able to resume operations in a health inspection compliant way, at least according to their complaint. Kytch's approach to fixing the problematic Taylor machines has always been a data-driven, iterative process that relies on the collection and analysis of large amounts of data. Before launching Kytch, founders Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson started Frobot back in 2011. Frobot is a fully robotic frozen yogurt dispenser that produces made-to-order frozen confections. Frobot is designed to interact with soft-serve machines made by Taylor. Through that venture, Frobot informed Taylor's leadership about its device that promised to augment the capabilities of Taylor's machines, including automation and increasing safety offerings. Sounds like there was a real opportunity for these companies to work together. Gee, I wonder which company decided not to do that. This innovation required years of product development and additional safety testing, given that the process involves serving dairy products to the general public. Taylor's response to Frobot's prototype was positive, and years and hundreds of thousands of dollars of product development followed. Frobot had a small fleet of Taylor machines, and Nelson and O'Sullivan soon learned that the only way to keep the machines up and running is through frequent and expensive service visits. After only a few months of gathering data, it became clear to Kytch that Taylor's machines were not very robust, and the finicky software was constantly causing outages. Kytch was founded in 2018 as a subsidiary of Frobot, and its original purpose was as a safety add-on to the automated soft-serve machines. In contrast to Frobot's focus on automation capabilities, Kytch focused on data and software to optimize the soft-serve machines and reduce outages. The Kytch solution officially launched in July 2019 at Tesla's factory in Lathrop, California, before expanding to fast food restaurants in the broader San Francisco area a short time later. Kytch learned that Taylor machines are designed to prohibit users from accessing the fulsome technicians menu that operates the machines. Taylor's menu contains confusing messages that leave McDonald's franchisees frustrated and unable to operate the machine, causing them to call the technician for even minor problems with their Taylor machines. Sounds an awful lot like a certain farming tractor supply company that we know. I believe that's John Deere, who won't let their customers service their own machines in many cases. One example of Taylor's cryptic error messages is below. And there's a picture of the screen, and it says, error, XSNDHUIF, LHPR greater than 45F, 1 hour, LPROD, 2 VISC. It almost sounds like a left product 2 viscous or something. I'm sure that they know a lot more about it than I do. But yeah, if you're the franchise operator or franchise manager, are you really going to want to learn all of the error codes? And it seems like maybe Taylor doesn't supply them. I don't know. We'll see if that fact is here in the lawsuit someplace. Kytch's flagship invention is known as the Kytch Solution Device, powered by a tiny Raspberry Pi computer with software to understand the communication between the machine's logic board and interface system. There is nothing like the Kytch Solution Device on the market, and the ability of a competitor to access and test the device would allow the competitor to obtain an extraordinary head start in the creation of a competitive device. And so that's sort of the motivation. Notice that they aren't suing Taylor because that's part of trade secret law. You can't protect we'll use the Coca-Cola example. You can't protect the recipe for Coca-Cola from a competitor figuring it out, but you can protect people who are inside Coca-Cola and know the Coca-Cola recipe. You can protect that through non-disclosure agreements and other reasonable measures. And as long as you do that, then trade secret law protects you. Recently, there was one with Uber, wasn't it? Didn't Uber poach one of a competitor's engineers? I forget the name. It was a couple years ago, and Uber got sued for a rather large amount of money for benefiting from those trade secrets. And I believe Uber had to sort of wall off those trade secrets, and then when the court ruled, they had to hand them back, if I recall everything correctly. The Kytch solution device is an easy-to-install device that can be bolted onto the soft-serve machines. When mounted on the machine and connected to Kytch's software and online platform, Kytch's IoT technology and data retrieval processes enable restaurant operators to see exactly what is going on with their machines. Kytch's intensive data analytics and automated processes work in tandem to optimize machine performance, and Kytch can actually detect errors in the machines and notify users in real time before the machines malfunction. Now here's where we start to get into redacted portions, and I'm going to skip some of the redacted portions because they don't make a whole lot of sense, but you can see on the screen the Kytch solution works with custom-made something. But here, Kytch's technology, wraparound software, and online platform improve the limited and simplistic interface of many appliances. Taylor's machines are designed so that only technical experts are able to navigate their internal workings. Kytch disrupted this limitation by creating user-friendly devices that are accessible to people without any technical training. So they collect data, 3 types. We don't know what those types are. Taylor makes it extremely difficult for owners of the device to be able to access this data. 3rd type is production data. So there's something about being able to track your production of cones and McFlurries over the course of a day or something. All of this is made possible through a man-in-the-middle cable. There we go. It's a cable and software that securely inserts the Kytch solution device for reading and writing data to and from the control panel assembly of the appliance, without exposing users, employees, and technicians to the potential of high voltage shocks or other related hazards. They're making a big deal about safety because, of course, Taylor has come back and said that they're concerned that Kytch makes the devices unsafe to service. You'll see Kytch's response to that, which is basically, you shouldn't be working on the machine while it's plugged in. But even if you are, Kytch also took that into account. There's also a safety switch, which disconnects the motors if the machine is open. So it shouldn't really be a safety issue, unless maybe the safety issue is some improper handling of ingredients or something and making it unsafe for consumption. So there's lots more redacted sections here about proprietary information and about how the machine works and about how the Kytch device works. It has an online platform. It notifies its users, the manager. It gives a daily servings summary. And this all helps the franchisee manage the machine with many fewer visits from Taylor. An example notification from Kytch Assist is depicted below. It says heat cycle failed because the left hopper reached 135.7 degrees instead of the required 151 degrees during the heat phase. Remember I said it's self-pasteurizing. This is probably the pasteurization cycle. Kytch restarted the heat cycle to reduce downtime potentially caused by overfilling the hopper. So this tells you what you could do to fix the machine yourself or not have this problem in the future. Make sure that your employees don't overfill the machine. And if that was the cause, then you probably saved yourself a bunch of money on a Taylor service visit. This notification describes a common error that frustrates many Kytch clients. The heat cycle fails because the hopper missed the target temperature required by the heating phase by approximately 1 degree. It says 135 here and 151, so that's more than 1 degree, but I'm assuming that even if it misses it by 1 degree, it still fails. And so there's more redactions here. It notifies customers, as in the franchisee. There's more redactions here, more redactions. After many hundreds of hours of data analysis on hundreds of machines, Kytch has determined that many of the issues with the machines can be corrected by using the controls and menu on the Taylor machine. Kytch also discovered a cryptic message, E7, that displays on the brush clean counter because Taylor's software was unable to display a 3-digit number. Kytch's software determined that E7 indicates that 147 machine hours had passed since the freezer door was last removed. However, despite this cryptic message, the machines continue to operate and serve customers. In simple terms, this means that the machines were designed to serve ice cream without complying with the mandatory brush cleaning schedules required by public health and safety standards. It sounds like they only have to be cleaned once a week. I mean, I understand cutting corners and things, but when you're talking about people's food and health, why would you be cutting corners there, McDonald's? There's other redacted sections and errors and things. We're going to skip ahead to the espionage. Kytch launched the Kytch solution device April 2019. Taylor started making efforts to obtain the device almost immediately. Because Kytch's founders had worked with Taylor's management in the past, and because Kytch vets the orders placed on its website to block competitors trying to steal the company's valuable trade secrets and confidential information, Jeremy O'Sullivan emailed the customer to obtain more information before approving the order. Kytch canceled the order when she failed to respond. The following month, a lawyer employed by Taylor's outside legal counsel, Brinks Gilson, attempted to purchase a Kytch solution device through Kytch's website. After these two attempts were not successful, at least two private investigators, who upon information and belief were also acting on behalf of Taylor, used assumed names to try to purchase the Kytch solution device several more times. Kytch customers were overjoyed to see their volatile Taylor machines modernized. Customer goodwill grew as Kytch reduced the cost of ownership by minimizing Taylor repair costs. Franchise operators reported increased revenue from their frozen offerings, and Kytch continued to spread like wildfire. As explained above, the iterative nature of Kytch's innovations made the Kytch solution smarter as it gathered more data about Taylor's machines. This means that with more runtime, the Kytch solution becomes more efficient at reducing downtime and associated service costs. Kytch spread to McDonald's in the fall of 2019. In October of that year, Kytch was featured at the National Owners Association conference in Dallas, and it showcased the Kytch solution in front of the largest association of independent U.S. McDonald's franchise operators. These independent franchisees control and operate several trade organizations, including the NSLC. The NSLC collaborates with McDonald's supply chain leadership, and its equipment team, led by Tyler Gamble, provides valuable insight to McDonald's concerning product innovations to integrate into McDonald's systems. One of the key focus areas for the equipment team is to identify solutions for McDonald's soft-serve machine problem through the McFlurry Task Force, also known as the Shake Machine Reliability Project. Kytch would learn that several of its trial participants had top positions within the NSLC, including Chair and Vice Chair John Kelly and Eric Wilson, Equipment Team Lead Tyler Gamble, and Competitive Advantage Team Lead Larry Miller, and Logistics Team Lead Laura Bucher. Despite enrolling numerous independent McDonald's franchisees in 2019 and 2020, Kytch prohibited corporate-owned and operated McDonald's locations from signing up for the Kytch trial because Kytch did not have a non-disclosure agreement in place with McDonald's Corporation. Because of this, the corporate-owned locations lacked the localized authority to enter into the Kytch trial agreement. So because they couldn't get an NDA with McDonald's, they can't sell to McDonald's-owned restaurants. As a result, some McDonald's representatives tried to circumvent Kytch's security by obscuring the fact that they worked at corporate-owned locations. McDonald's regional deployment manager Michael Cousins emailed Kytch saying that he was interested in the product. McDonald's operations technology professional Josh Drake attempted to enroll in the Kytch trial, and he did not disclose that he was employed by McDonald's Corp. Or that he was trying to obtain devices on behalf of McDonald's Corp. Kytch denied his application after determining the stores in Drake's application were corporate-owned McDonald's locations. In all, Kytch rejected approximately 40 corporate-owned McDonald's locations that attempted to enroll in the trial. By 2020, McDonald's franchise operators enrolled in the Kytch trial to test the Kytch solutions at restaurants in Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin. As a result of this massive expansion, the Kytch solution was a viable remedy to many of the problems that had troubled Taylor soft-serve machines and frustrated customers for years. In February 2020, news outlets reported on Kytch's success. And there are several headlines here. McDonald's ice cream machines may never break down on you again thanks to a new machine. New device may prevent McDonald's ice cream machines from breaking. McDonald's and Burger King franchisees are raving about a new device that can update their notoriously broken soft-serve machines. A new device promises to keep McFlurry machines up and running. After the first of these news reports were published, Tyler Gamble sent a message to Kytch expressing interest in enrolling in the trial. I'm a McDonald's owner and am the equipment team lead for the US. I'm seeing lots of buzz about your equipment and would like to speak with someone to better understand its possible use in our restaurants. Because Taylor was unable to obtain the Kytch solution through its employees, its lawyers, or its private investigators, Kytch is informed and believes that Taylor, the ice cream machine maker, worked with McDonald's franchisees, including Tyler Gamble, to infiltrate the Kytch trial. A short time later, Kytch CEO Jeremy O'Sullivan had a conversation with Gamble and Eric Wilson, the vice chair of NSLC and prior McDonald's equipment team lead. During this conversation, Gamble said he was familiar with Kytch's ability to navigate, search, and fine-tune the inner workings of Taylor's machines. Gamble, along with NSLC vice chair and chair John Kelly and Eric Wilson, out of order, participated in the Kytch trial a short time later. Tyler Gamble was eager to obtain the Kytch solution. Gamble also offered to serve as a liaison between Kytch and the fast food giant, promising to solidify Kytch's relationship with McDonald's. It appeared early on that Gamble was making good on his promises to promote Kytch. He said that he was serving as a go-between for Kytch with McDonald's corporate, and he said he wanted to help the company expand to more McDonald's locations. Gamble endorsed Kytch's innovative technology, and he appeared to be a promising partner for the fast-growing startup. By the fall of 2020, Gamble had promised Kytch that he would recommend the Kytch solution to every McDonald's franchise operator in the United States. But on October 19th, 2020, Tyler Gamble sent a peculiar message to Jeremy O'Sullivan about Kytch's remote control capabilities. Gamble asked whether there was a way to ensure that no one using the Kytch device remotely accesses the machine while a technician may be working on it. This is a big concern with McDonald's headquarters. I guess he abbreviated it MHQ. Shouldn't it be abbreviated the McHQ? O'Sullivan explained the layers of protection that guard against this concern. First, the machine should be powered off and unplugged before any work is started. This is standard safety for any equipment. O'Sullivan continued, second, there's a sensor on the freezer door so that when the freezer door is removed, it prevents the motor from turning on. Third, we do have a mechanism in place that disables any automation when a user takes control of the front panel by pressing any buttons. O'Sullivan closed by explaining that the Kytch solution has been tested and certified for safety to UL standards by Intertech Labs. Gamble replied, thanks. As someone who used to work for a major electronics company, when you work with high voltage, you get things certified by UL, and that is the standard. You have UL, you have CE, and you have other standards around the world for electrical certification. So I believe the device is safe if UL says the device is safe. Taylor and McDonald subsequently announced Taylor and Gamble's equipment team were preparing to release the Taylor Shake Sunday connectivity. According to the description, TSSC would be released in Q1 of 2021, and TSSC's product offered features that map to Kytch's. Remember, Taylor is the ice cream machine maker, so suddenly they're making their own competitor to the Kytch device. Kytch would later learn that Tyler Gamble had been using the Kytch solution to assist the Taylor group. Kytch recently discovered that Tyler Gamble violated the Kytch trial agreement by sharing the Kytch solution device and platform to unauthorized third parties, specifically TF Group LLC. TF Group LLC is a franchised servicer and distributor for Taylor and its machines. On its LinkedIn page, TF Group LLC describes itself as a leader in the food service equipment segment. TF Group utilizes analytical advances to ensure speed of service, reduction of equipment downtime, and labor savings. Kytch's investigation determined that on May 27, 2020, Tyler Gamble's Kytch solution device, identified as Brownsville, went offline. The device remained offline for 8 months, and when Kytch questioned Gamble about its downtime, he claimed that the Taylor machine had an issue with one of its compressors, which should not take 8 months to fix. 1 week after Gamble's Brownsville Kytch solution device went offline, Kytch issued a real-time alert from Gamble's Kytch solution, identified as Stonebrook 1. The alert stated L product 2 VISC was occurring frequently. This problem was appearing in numerous Taylor machines throughout Kytch's online network, but a short time after Kytch provided this notification to Gamble, the product to Visk alert rarely appeared in any Taylor machine connected to the Kytch platform. This is circumstantial evidence that Tyler Gamble shared the message with Taylor Group and that Taylor subsequently adjusted its programming to account for the error. When Gamble's Brownsville device was connected to the internet again in February of 2021, its SD card was 90% full. The device log indicates that someone had been accessing the Kytch solution device and that the device was powered on and used for weeks after going offline. However, according to the device log, the Kytch cables were disconnected periodically so the device could not retrieve information or connect to the internet. The uninterrupted reverse engineering of the Kytch solution device evidenced by this behavior would provide the Taylor Group with a dramatic head start in designing a competing device. There is nothing like the Kytch solution in the marketplace. Kytch restricts who has access to its devices because the ability to reverse engineer the device exposes Kytch's trade secrets. In April 2021, a spokesperson from Middleby Corporation, Taylor's parent company, confirmed that a Tennessee distributor reported to Taylor that its servicer removed a Kytch device from one of Kytch's trial participants' stores. Upon information and belief, this Tennessee distributor is TF Group LLC and the trial participant is Tyler Gamble. A short time after disconnecting the Brownsville Kytch solution device, Tyler Gamble invited someone named Matt Wilson using a telephone number for Blaine Martin, who serves as TF Group's managing partner, to access Kytch. Upon information and belief, the registered name Matt Wilson may be an alias or an attempt to obscure the fact that Blaine Martin is associated with the unauthorized account access. This account, tied to TF Group, obtained access to Kytch's confidential information and trade secrets through the Kytch solution device and platform. This includes access to all historic notifications, the remote control, and ultimately Kytch Rewind using Gamble's account. I think Kytch Rewind is the daily status update or daily product update. The data Gamble allowed the Taylor Group to access is attached with Exhibit B, and the information represented by this data is Exhibit C, all of which was generated and is contained on the Kytch solution platform. It would have taken years, millions of dollars, and a vast trial program for Gamble or the Taylor Group to obtain these data. Kytch has forensically confirmed that the fake account associated with the Taylor Group was used to access the Kytch solution platform on multiple occasions, and the unauthorized access from the TF Group LLC account continued through January 17th, 2021. Kytch's investigation also determined that Gamble unlawfully invited Mike Zagorski to access Kytch's trade secrets and confidential information. The invitation was sent from Gamble's account, and it says Kytch invite for Gamble. Mike Zagorski is the director of global equipment development at McDonald's Corp., and Kytch did not authorize Gamble to invite Zagorski to access Kytch's interface. Kytch's investigation has not uncovered evidence that Mr. Zagorski accepted the invitation. On January 29th, 2021, right around the time they were contacted about another Business Insider article covering Kytch, Tyler Gamble and his father Jeff Gamble both logged into the Kytch platform and deleted the users, including Blaine Martin and William_P@eplus.net, that they had invited to access Kytch's trade secret information. Despite registering his Kytch devices for use in Tennessee and Mississippi, Kytch's forensic records confirmed that the Kytch solutions Gamble ordered have been accessed, likely by the Taylor Group, in Little Rock, Arkansas, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, and New Orleans, Louisiana. By using the Kytch solution at these unauthorized locations, Gamble breached the Kytch trial agreement. While contractually partnering with Kytch, Gamble was in fact stealing Kytch's confidential information and trade secrets in the marketplace and passing them to Taylor Group. Taylor benefited from the misappropriation of trade secrets because TF Group shared the information with Taylor. Taylor Group knew that the information was subject to secrecy agreements, and Kytch is informed and believed that Taylor Group induced Tyler Gamble to breach his secrecy obligations to gain access to Kytch's confidential information and trade secrets. Once its distributor had obtained the Kytch solution device, Taylor targeted Kytch's customers, who Taylor knew to be bound by NDAs, and induced them to enroll in Taylor's product trial. Specifically, according to Taylor's own statements, the McDonald's equipment team was developing Taylor's competing product. 3 of Kytch's customers have served on the equipment team, and they're named there. Additionally, John Kelly, another Kytch customer who oversees the equipment team, is also testing Taylor's competing product. Separately, Kytch's investigation revealed more suspicious activities from trial participants connected to McDonald's NSLC. Celia Group executed the Kytch trial agreement on August 17, 2020. It operates 18 locations in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, not far from the headquarters of Powerhouse Dynamics. David Bellucci works through Celia Group, and they are members of McDonald's equipment team. March 20th, Celia Group's Kytch account was accessed from Chicago, Illinois, and Bronx, New York, using a VPN before logging in from Milford, Massachusetts, where the account was registered. Kytch would later learn that TF Group had access to Tyler Gamble's accounts, and thus this message, this redacted message. Taylor Group knew that Kytch's operating system, Kytch OS, presented an existential threat to Taylor's service and repair scheme. Potential investors and customers alike have pointed to Taylor's conduct as a primary basis for why they will not invest in Kytch. Kytch's communications with at least one investor, Benhamou Global Ventures, stalled after news of Taylor's misconduct became public. And one of Kytch's most trusted advisors, Narbe de Jacobian, sorry about the pronunciation there, was forced to pull back conversations with other investors based on the uncertainty flowing from defendants' misappropriation of trade secrets. Although initial reports indicated that Taylor would be releasing its Taylor Shake Sunday connectivity solution in Q1 of 2021, the device has not yet been released. On belief, the product is being rolled out through a Taylor affiliate called Powerhouse Dynamics. Using its open kitchen concept, Powerhouse Dynamics released images of the device and its offerings and trade dresses similar to the Kytch device. Similarly, of the hundreds of device functions, the 3 functions Powerhouse Dynamics decided to animate in its marketing materials are identical to the functions depicted in Kytch's rendering. And there's some pictures here, though it's not terribly easy to see. Powerhouse Dynamics product offers servings reports which resemble Kytch's method for programmatically opening the menu to retrieve the data at a specified time each day, saving the data and displaying the data on a website or email notification. Much like the Kytch Solutions Rewind feature, Powerhouse Dynamics offers a visual representation of the machine's time on various modes. In its current form, the Taylor machine is incapable of connecting to the internet. Therefore, Powerhouse is likely adding a computing module that has Wi-Fi capabilities, just like the Kytch solution. Powerhouse Dynamics' version of Kytch references all of Kytch landmark features, its design, several components that were subject to binding non-disclosure agreements that were not publicly available. The fact that Powerhouse Dynamics graphics highlight the display of the hopper temperatures provides further evidence of overlap from Kytch's earlier offering. Displaying hopper temperatures is not permissible in the default setting of the Taylor machines. Indeed, the display of hopper temperatures deviates from Taylor service manuals. Kytch's innovation was delivering its users information related to hopper temperatures, and this fact was only shared as confidential information to trial participants. Finally, Powerhouse Dynamics' website indicates that the competing device is being tried out with McDonald's franchise operator and equipment team lead Louis Bono Jr. I'm not sure who that is. So the first cause of action is breach of a written contract against Gamble, and that's the correct thing to do. The non-disclosure agreement is a contract, and so breach of a contract without anything more is actual damages that, if they were able to prove their case, then at least the plaintiff would recover the damages to make them whole, to return them to the status quo before the damage occurred. But if the contract violation was done in bad faith or intentionally, then you could add punitive damages, and that could be a 2 or 3 times multiplier to punish the behavior, the bad behavior, the misconduct. Then we have tortious interference with a contract. This is when someone wrongfully interferes with someone else's existing contract. If I have a contract for the construction of my house, and even though I have an agreement and maybe I've already paid the money and maybe the construction has already started, someone else comes along and says, hey, breach your contract with them and I'll make your house at a higher quality for half the price. And I go, oh yeah, that sounds good to me. And so I breached the contract with the existing developer. The third party probably can be actioned against, probably can have a lawsuit brought against them by the damaged developer for the profits of the contract that can no longer be fulfilled. Sometimes breach of contract is economic, and sometimes you are maybe not allowed to breach a contract, but you can breach a contract, suffer the normal contract damages, and then just make that party whole, and maybe you save money in the long run. So sometimes there is a reason to do that, and you might see that here in this lawsuit, that even though McDonald's / Taylor / Gamble, somebody's responsible for potentially some wrongdoing or misconduct or breach of contract or tortious interference or trade secret violation, they might still lose less money than by letting Kytch have a significant portion of the market share in fixing these machines. So there might just be monetary motivation for this. So that's the tortious interference of a contract against Taylor Group. And then there's violation of the California Uniform Trade Secrets Act, which is the California version of a federal uniform act, which you can't really apply the Trade Secret Act federally. Maybe you can in some interstate commerce situation, but if there's a state violation, then you have to bring that in state law, in state court, under state law, and the state version of that law would be applicable. They might have some changes from the Uniform Act. This happens a lot. Every state has its own version, but they'll usually track pretty closely with the uniform version. The Uniform Trade Secrets Act basically prevents or gives remedies for violations of confidentiality measures to keep secrets, trade secrets, secret. If you are under some sort of non-disclosure agreement, or I can't think of other scenarios, the trade secrets should be kept confidential. And if you share those trade secrets, then there are some remedies. And there's probably a clawing back of the trade secrets from the people who illicitly obtained them. So they ask for remedies under that. And so the prayer for relief, they ask for judgment against Gamble, judgment against the Taylor Group, that the defendants, their officers and agents, etc., all persons in active concert, be restrained and enjoined from misappropriating, disclosing, or using Kytch's confidential information and trade secrets. And so if Taylor does successfully lose the case, bad wording there, then there will be some kind of clawing back of the benefits of those trade secrets. The cat's sort of out of the bag, the horse is out of the barn, so that's going to be a fight to try and figure out what the damage is and how to properly claw that back. Maybe in a settlement, Taylor agrees not to develop a competing product for a period of time representative of the time it would take them to develop their own, and that would give Kytch the market advantage that they had in the first place. Those will all be arguments the parties will have to make, assuming that they even get to the damages section. The defendants should be ordered to recall and surrender all material and trade secrets wrongfully misappropriated or converted. Kytch should recover compensatory damages plus punitive and exemplary damages, disgorgement of profits, restitution, pre-judgment and post-judgment interest, and attorney's fees and costs, and all other relief that the court may deem just and proper. And then they've included an exhibit here, the trial agreement, which we're not going to go through, but I'm assuming that it contains something about non-disclosure. You shall not cause others to remove or modify the solution, make derivative works, disassemble, reverse compile, perform any benchmarks, disclose any security testing, license, sell, rent, etc. There is Tyler Gamble's signature on the thing, and they redacted exhibits B and C because I'm assuming they contain proprietary information. So right now, Kytch has a temporary restraining order or its equivalent in California law, preventing the release or use of this confidential information, sort of putting everything on hold. It's a normal measure for a court to grant one of those things, but they should only do it when there is a likelihood of success on the merits and there is ongoing irreparable harm to the plaintiff. A temporary restraining order often does not require a response from the defendant. We call that ex parte, without the other party. The temporary restraining order will expire and we will get a hearing for a preliminary injunction, which is the injunction that is still temporary, but I'm going to use the word permanent for the duration of the litigation until a permanent injunction or no injunction issues from the adjudication. If we go here to the court docket, there is a case management conference on 8/23, and there is an order to show cause on the preliminary injunction 8/23 as well. So we'll know more in a week and a day from the recording of this recording, when the parties have their injunction hearing. And if Kytch has done a good enough job, then the judge will enter a preliminary injunction preventing Taylor and Gamble from using the benefits or confidential information that they have allegedly illegally used or obtained. And then they'll go through the standard discovery process. Taylor will have to turn over information about what it has and how it got it. And then the parties will make their case either for summary judgment or for a trial. And after a trial on the merits, the judge will decide what the damages are. Maybe a jury decides what the damages are. And the judge will then decide what sort of injunction should issue. But I think this whole effort, while it might result in a permanent injunction and it might result in a damages award, I'm thinking more of the message that it sends. Look, there's a solution to the McFlurry machine problem. And now here, look, all of you independent franchisee operators and owners, your corporate headquarters is preventing you from having access to something that would make you more money. So maybe it's also a message to the independent franchisees to talk to McDonald's corporate and get them to correct the situation. That might actually be the more valuable part of the case, is to get this in front of McDonald's corporate through its attention, both in the public and from the independent franchisee owners and operators. Because if McDonald's corporate decides, hey, Kytch has something going here, it seems like a small company, small startup that is doing a great job correcting the problems with this other company's machine, McDonald's corporate probably has the weight to correct the situation, to force Taylor to work with Kytch by force, basically, by business force, by economic force, and make this whole thing go away. And then maybe the lawsuit will just suddenly be settled quietly, and McFlurry machines will start working properly more often around the country, which would ultimately be the best thing that could happen for you and me. Let me know what you think of that dramatic story in the comments below. And that's today's video. Special thanks to our top supporters in August: John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Spirit Bear, Benjamin Hitov, Ugly Grill, Torpedan, Brandyn Abel, ShadowTycho, RDHDragon, Earthbound Star, PureMagma, Drew Hart, and Eric Tams. You can support Lawful Masses on patreon.com/ljfrench, sponsors.com/law, through YouTube memberships, and through Floatplane subscriptions. Join me for our weekly production stream on twitch.tv/lawfulmasses on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern US time. I hope everyone has a great week. I love you all. Bye.